Maido, hey there Japan fans. Today's show we're going to talk about audience engagement. Present or master shimasho. This is the 7th year of the Presentation Japan Series podcast, and we are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. And I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de okane o muda ni suru no wa yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you to become a better speaker, to be 1. Clear, 2. Confident, 3. Persuasive, and 4. Highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcasts hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Touches in no Oshie show. Wednesday, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery show. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 331. Today, we're talking about engaging our audience when presenting. We have a talk coming up which we have to give to a business audience, and we work hard on the preparation. We make sure we don't suck up all the time, though, with preparing the slide deck and forget to do our rehearsal. This run-through of the talk before we give it live is a key component of getting our timing right and our cadence flowing. This makes us easy to follow for the listeners and allows the talk to move seamlessly through the different chapters of the content. We arrive early to the venue and start interacting with our audience as they arrive. We try and meet as many people as possible and build that powerful personal connection. We ask them why they chose to attend. What are they doing at the moment? What are they interested in, etc. As the speaker, we want to try and demolish that invisible wall separating us from the attendees. We are trying to form a collective where we are all members together, trying to locate pertinent answers to business conundrums we are all facing. Their feedback is also useful for us to further refine the delivery of the talk to include some issues they have raised. Everyone is naturally, totally preoccupied with themselves and their problems. So we need a blockbuster opening to grab everyone's attention from the start. At the end, we wrap it up with a sharp summary or a call to action such that our words are still ringing in their ears as they wind their way out of the venue. All the technical aspects of the talk need to be in place. We can't be satisfied with this, though. We need to be aiming to strongly engage our audience during our talk. Sounds easy. However, think back and consider how many speakers you have sat through who managed to really engage their audiences. I'm guessing very few, or certainly not enough. Why is that the case? We would expect that this engagement process would be a big part of the speaker's efforts to sell their message. We want to get the audience on our side, and we want to establish rapport and build trust so they buy what we are saying. The problem is often the speaker has a misconception of their role. They think They are there to pile on the information, data, statistics, evidence, etc., etc. And if they do that, then they will be successful as a presenter. The problem with this approach is it can be very dry, boring, and painful to sit through. Reeling off numbers is a favourite, but often is an abstraction. We leave the listeners to do all of the hard work to connect these numbers to their individual realities. For example, I could note that government figures talk about the number of Japanese aged 15 to 34 having halved over the last 20 years and that they will halve again by 2060. Now this is a very abstract idea and useful to a point, but what are the audience members supposed to do with those numbers? Instead, I could reference those same numbers and then add, so what does it mean for all of us in the room? This is a nice framing exercise to stimulate everyone to start thinking about how to connect the data to their own situation. We could then go on to add, basically, the data shows we are running out of young Japanese to hire for our firms. And we are heading into a zero-sum game headwind of winners and losers in recruiting staff. Which one are you planning for? To be a winner or a loser in this war for talent? Now I have successfully connected the numbers with a real business problem they are all either facing now or will face in the future, regardless of their industry or the age and stage of their business. Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. So on the 6th of March, actually it'll be 6 and 7 of March, we are holding our high impact presentations course. I love this program. Why? The progress people make in just the 2 days of the main modules is absolutely spectacular. The reason for that is it is wall-to-wall coaching for 2 days. We have 2 instructors, we video everything, and you're getting massive feedback. Getting feedback in the room when you're doing it, getting feedback in the review room when you're looking yourself on video. It's feedback, feedback, feedback all the time, which is why we progress so quickly. On the 18th of this March, we'll have our Dale Carnegie course. It's our flagship course. Again, another very unique program. The main modules go for 12 weeks. And why is that? Well, getting people to change, getting ourselves to change, not easy. As I often say, we all love change in others. We're not so keen on it for ourselves. If the boss would change, that'd be good. If my colleagues would change, that would be good. If my subordinates would change, that would be good. If the company would change, that would be good. If the market would change, that would be good. But me, I'm not changing at all. I'm staying exactly as I am. Well, hello. That isn't reality. We have to change too. And business is moving fast. Things are changing all the time in business. We've got to evolve. We've got to move with it. We've got to have a different mindset. Well, great. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Doesn't work. Just telling people to change their mindset's ridiculous. It's got to come from inside. It's got to come from within us. That takes time. That's why the Dale Carnegie course is brilliant for getting us the right tools to help us change our mindset, and it takes time. On the 12th of April, we'll have another of our Dale Carnegie courses. On the 20th of April, we'll have another of our high impact presentations courses. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. That's www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. greg-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching video, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Welcome back. I could take it even further and start adding in a story from my own experience to really drive home the point and make a common cause with my audience. After telling them the numbers and asking about whether they'll be winners or losers, I could relate a relevant anecdote. I could say, as I stand here, I reflect on this for myself. 10 years ago, I would have a nice, thick pile of resumes on my desk to sort through and plenty of options about who to choose for my new staff. Each year, however, I started to notice that the size of that pile of resumes was getting smaller and smaller, and so were my options. I also noticed that the candidates seemed to be gaining a lot more choices about accepting offers. They were becoming pickier and pickier about who they would choose to join. It has become harder than ever to actually recruit staff. I am sure I am not the only one here to have this experience, which just underlines that we have to switch our thinking about recruiting and retaining staff. Even if they hadn't personally been in a position of responsibility to recruit staff, everyone in the room can get the point. It makes the statistics come alive as a real business problem we're all facing, as the Japanese population continues its unstoppable decline. They're going to be sitting there, contemplating the ramifications for their own firm. We can use a combination of pointed questions to drive the audience to react to a problem or a topic, and also add in stories which further highlight the issues. Questions are powerful, particularly rhetorical questions for which we don't expect an answer. They are useful in order to direct the listener's attention to a problem we want to highlight and engage their problem-solving thought processes. When using storytelling, personal stories are best. Within the personal story group, disaster stories are the top of the tree for effectiveness. If I said, let me tell you how we increased our revenues by 300%, that will not be as interesting an audience as if I said, let me tell you why we saw revenues drop by 300%. We are geared up for lessons to avoid mistakes, and we love a good train wreck story so that we don't repeat the same misfortune ourselves. Ideally, we would have a train wreck story and a salvation story of how we turn things around. That makes for a brilliant combination, and the audience will be all ears to discover the solution so that they can learn from it too. The key is to translate the data into issues they will be facing and to make our story delivery as personal as possible. If that isn't necessarily available, then referencing third-party examples and what happened will also work. By doing some simple adjustments to our talk, we can elevate it from a remote topic, which is pretty boring, to a theme of hot interest and relevance. The key is to start from a point of view of how can I find a connector to my audience's interest, which will engage them such that they want to hear more from me. In this way, we can become very effective in building up our personal and professional brands. Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.